3, 2, 1. Wait! What up? Editing Ben here. So Johnathan will talk about this pretty early in the podcast, and I was super happy about it. He decided to change up his microphone to give us a higher quality microphone. He did some tests, and everything was working clean. And then for whatever reason, when we went to record for the podcast, it wasn't clean, and there's this humming, and I'm sorry. That's the only thing I can say, that there's going to be a humming throughout the video whenever Johnathan is talking. For myself, it's going to sound just like this. You're not going to hear any humming or anything like that. But yes, for Johnathan, there's going to be humming. I have edited it to where I try to eliminate the humming the best I possibly can without interrupting the audio and the volume to make sure that you guys can still hear what's happening and all that stuff. So I do apologize a lot for that, but that's just what happened. We're still playing around with microphone situations. I plan on going to see Johnathan here soon to be able to kind of work on the best option possible. But for right now, this is what we're dealing with in this episode. We have already reverted the change for next week's episode. So once again, we really do apologize for that, guys. I hope it doesn't bother you too much. But this is still a really fun podcast, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week in another podcast as well.
What up, guys? Welcome to episode 9 of the Buckhouse Podcast. Most podcasts fail at 10 episodes or never make it to episode 10. So if we get to episode 11, that means we're in the top 90% of podcasts, which definitely warrants a subscribe, a like, whatever. But this is a podcast where me and my brother Ben, what up, bro?
What up?
We just talk about life, social media, content creation, snowboarding, sports. I don't know. We're brothers. We just talk gaming. We haven't talked gaming in a minute, but overall, I'm just excited to once a week jump on the phone with my brother, record it, put it on the internet, and some of you guys enjoy that.
Yeah, no, we're stoked. We're stoked on the performance of the podcast so far and everything. We're learning as we go, and we are just super excited. And I'm super excited to be here. And I just want to kind of like shout us out. Johnathan was saying that most podcasts don't make it to that 10th episode or fail by the 10th episode and everything. And we're just there. We're in episode 9, right? But the other thing is that we normally film these podcasts on Mondays. Well, last Monday was Memorial Day, which we will talk about that. But also yesterday morning, we wake up at 4 a.m. and Jonathan's daughter is super sick. So we have to postpone it again. So today is actually Wednesday, but we're still doing it, bro. We're still doing it. Not going to stop.
No, definitely. Our goal is to post a podcast every Monday, and life is going to happen. I got a snowboard camp coming up on top of, once again, I have children. So it's always hit or miss, especially we film at like 5 a.m. So the family's still sleeping. But sometimes the kids wake up and they're sick, or they're going to be like, bust in here being like, yo, dad, what's up? And I'm like, yo, go to sleep. It's just, it is what it is. And we're figuring it out. Every single day is just us trying to get better at this podcast thing. I know I am rocking a new microphone today. Hopefully the audio, I was not enjoying how I sounded with the wireless mic. So I'm going to try this plugged in microphone. I did some tests prior to this one. I think this is the move, is this Rode mic I have. I don't have a stand for it, so I'm literally just laying it on my desk.
I'm gonna just say real fast, shout out Johnathan. Johnathan in no way, shape, or form is not, like, I'm not saying he's lazy or anything, but when it comes to troubleshooting like your stream setup or camera equipment, like, you don't have the time for that. So bro, shout out for trying to put in some effort on making the microphone quality just a tad bit better. That's awesome.
Yeah, I put a little bit of thought to it, and I put 3 minutes of effort into it, and I figured it out. I think it's better audio.
There we go.
But
well, so troubleshooting is such a hit or miss. I when I worked at Best Buy, I used to tell people I don't troubleshoot. It's not that like a customer come up to me, I'm like, no, I don't troubleshoot, but it's like, no, go to Geek Squad. Like, I don't troubleshoot. Like, that's not my thing. Because even yesterday, I had to troubleshoot the stream setup we have at work. And oh my goodness, that took forever. And it's stuff like this. The microphone we had plugged in was a USB microphone. And it was plugged into a better USB port in the back. And it wasn't working. We're really confused. We did some troubleshooting. We plug it into the front, which is normally a lesser quality USB cord. And it works. And we're like, what? That makes no sense. But that's troubleshooting. Like, it doesn't make any sense, and I hate doing it.
Yeah, I hate doing it. I also don't have great internet, so like I definitely have wanted to take my streaming like my live streaming on my YouTube channel to another levels, but like it's like, is the risk of trying to figure out how to go live and troubleshooting all that with bad internet worth? Because I tried it, and then like my streams would drop, and then all of a sudden people would join the stream and then be like, the stream failed, and they leave, and all of a sudden I did 4 separate streams in one night trying to make this live stream thing, where I was just like, I'm just gonna go live off my phone. It's that easy. It's just easy. So, and now YouTube wants you to go vertical live. Have you known that?
I did not, but I want to do some vertical streaming. We kind of talked about that in, I think, last podcast with the whatnot streaming. Like, I want to do some of that vertical streaming. It's just it's a completely different setup on like the OBS side of things and everything. So I have to like set up a whole new system, but I want to look into it.
Well, I think it would be huge for you. For me, it's not so huge. In the sense, like my streams are getting more views. Some people are sticking around. But what it does is it pushes it in the shorts feed, kind of like TikTok. So you'll go from like 5 viewers, or like I'll be sitting around like 40 to 50 live stream viewers, and then it shoots up to like 400. And you're like, what up, dudes? And they stick around for like 2 seconds, and then it'll drop to like 90. And then you'll get 40 people that are like kind of sticking around, seeing what's going on. And then usually like it like will increase your current base, like watching, by like 2 or 3 people, which is not bad. You'll definitely get more trolls. I definitely get a ton of people that normally wouldn't be like talking trash in my streams showing up, but that is what it is.
Yeah, I have heard a lot of things about like the TikTok streaming and things like that. I'm doing better of this. It's not that I necessarily like need to, or I guess even want to. Like, I just am overall being better about it. But what I've heard is that if you stream on like TikTok, if you curse, they will like the system will recognize the language that you're using, and if they don't believe that it fits in their guidelines, they like don't push your stream as hard. And I've heard that like multiple times and everything. And when I would jump on, I did stream on TikTok for a second, just for a little bit, just to feel it out, see what's going on and everything. Yeah, I noticed that like when it first started, I kid you not, like 1,000 viewers or something. And then, 10 minutes later, it dropped down to maybe like 600 or something. And then I like might have cussed a few times. And all of a sudden I had like 10 viewers. I'm like, how did I go from 1,000 to 10 in like 30 minutes? Like, it just was, it was like a crazy influx in people, and then like the rest of the stream I had like 1 or 2 people because TikTok like didn't push my video. At least that's what it seemed like from what everyone else was telling me, if that makes any sense.
Totally. I need to try to do some TikTok lives. But I hear like the longer you're live on TikTok, the better you do too, which sounds like a nightmare, man. I don't got 4 hours in my day to be live streaming, especially like everything I got going on. I like to jump on for like an hour long stream. 2 hours was fun back in the day, and I wouldn't mind getting back up to that, but people just don't engage in live streams, I feel like they used to.
I feel like it's such a hit or miss, and I feel like it really depends on just like, I don't know. Streaming is hard. Streaming is very hard, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. And I know that you've been streaming long enough. You know it's not easy. Like, by now.
Dude,
but
reading the chat and flowing is difficult. I mean, mine is all... So there's 2... Like, Ben does, like, video game streaming. So he's gaming, and then he'll interact with his chat. And a lot of his stream is people just enjoying him playing a video game. Where mine's a Q&A, like or a just chat stream. So essentially, like, my live stream is fed off the audience and them giving me good questions. Sometimes they're just talking to each other and not giving me any good questions. Things, so then I got to make it up or ramble, or I got to find the one person that did ask a question and then just like take it way too long. But streaming is super important, I think, for the overall health of a channel, for community building. It allows you to like talk about sponsors of your channel too in a more in-depth way. That's not like an ad. It's just like, no, like I actually do like this product, and like here's a little bit more why I like it. Things like that.
Yeah, no, when it comes to like streaming, the video game side, it sounds nice because like Jonathan was saying, like people are just enjoying your gaming or whatever. But there's so many variables that go into that, especially you'll learn as you're like learning how to stream and everything. You're gonna everyone does. Everyone looks up videos on like how to grow your stream, how to do this, how to do that, blah blah blah, like how to get more viewers. And this is the difficult part about streaming, especially video game streaming. Any type of streaming that you're doing is like, unless you already have a following, when you start streaming, you're not going to be streaming to anybody. And you essentially have to pretend like you're streaming to 100 people, as in you have to be entertaining to 0 people, just in the case somebody might click on your stream and watch you. And the first like 5 to 10 seconds that they see you, that's the window that they choose if they're gonna stay or not and like hang out with you. So it's like you have to be entertaining always in order to and like not just in the game, you have to be entertaining, like you have to be talking the entire time. It's a very it's hard, dude. It's hard.
No, yeah, definitely video gaming is different than like just chatting, because what I did in the beginning, because once again I'd go live, I had an audience, like 5 or 6 people would show up, but I'd have topics like pre-written out. So like on this live stream, I'm going live for 30 minutes. This is when I started. I'm going to talk about these 3 topics. And so I would also pretend like I was talking to more people. So people on YouTube, people will watch live streams, not live. I always encourage them to listen to it like a podcast. So in a way, my live streams have always kind of been like, in a way, a podcast on my channel as well. And so, yeah, I would have certain topics that I would go over before I had an audience that was feeding my conversation and directing my live streams.
I wonder if I'm sure that there is a way that we could do it. It's just a matter of like figuring out if it's the right thing to do for you. And that is, so when I stream nowadays, I'm making content from my stream. And I don't just mean shorts. You should always be making shorts, like always be making short form content from any type of content that you make. But it's more so that my channel is mostly about speedrunning games that I've never played before now. And what I'll do is I was live streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever. And so I would try to speedrun a game on those nights. So it's like I'm providing the stream to my viewership, but because I'm short on time, I'm also creating a YouTube video while streaming. And like that's the way to do it, is like to multitask essentially. Like you're streaming to YouTube, but that's essentially your recording session, so that way you can edit it on the other days. And like that was the way that the system that I built into it, and it always worked well. But because I have a purpose behind the stream other than just talking to my chat, as in like I'm making a YouTube video, it always helped me be a little bit more talkative, or a little bit like I had a reason to talk essentially, because it's for a YouTube video. So that's always helped me with my streaming processes.
I definitely need to like take my live streams and either put them in an AI app that will select shorts, which now exist, or like have somebody that goes through the live stream and was like, oh, this was like a really good short segment, and turn that into a short. But once again, what people do in podcasts, that's something that I've never done. I definitely have done enough live streams that I'm sure there's some gems in some of them. And so it's just one of those things like, what's your bandwidth? I personally, between the content creation and all type of stuff, haven't had that time and energy to create shorts from my live streams, but it's definitely possible. And if you're an up and coming creator, especially someone that wants to be successful on YouTube, I'd encourage you to go live at least once a month, if not once a week, because let's say your bandwidth is I can only make 1 video a week. That's what I'm committing to. And I want to make content around snowboarding or whatever your genre, skateboarding, video games, whatever it is. So like pick what you're going to try to make a weekly consistent video for. And then also maybe can you fit in a 30-minute to an hour live stream once a week? And so then all of a sudden you now can make your long form video, do your live stream, and then steal shorts from your live stream. And all of a sudden now you have more content, like Ben was saying. So he was using live streaming to not only be more content on his channel, but to also make his long form videos. Super smart, bro.
I think I realized that from I honestly, like, if you listen to this, Aaron, like I would love to like understand what happened. But like a friend of mine, or what I thought was a friend of mine, he's a big YouTuber now. His name is Chiz Plays, and so shout out Aaron, he's killing it. I just looked at his TikTok this morning. He's got 1 million followers and everything. But we used to play Halo together, and he was kind of the guy that like I learned that from. He didn't tell me it. He didn't say do it this way, but I like would watch his stream, and I was like, wait a minute. This is just like his YouTube video. And I'm like, this dude's just like, he's making his YouTube video from his stream. And I'm like, why am I not doing that? I was like, that's the smartest thing I've ever seen in my life. So that's what, yeah, it was when you, that's something, changing of subject here. When you watch stuff nowadays, bro, I'm sure it's nowadays, but especially, but like when you were getting into YouTube, when you were watching stuff, were you essentially like a student in a classroom every time? Like when you're watching it, you're like studying the YouTube video or like even the movie or whatever on like how to edit certain ways, or like what tricks did they use here? Like, do you ever think like that?
Sometimes I think more when it was like snowboarding. I'd watch a snowboard video and I'd be like, dang, like that was such a cool trick. Like, how did he do that? And then I would study the motions for that. And then when we started the YouTube channel, yeah, like I took some inspiration from Casey, but I wouldn't say, honestly, my editing just got better from like purposely being like, I want to be a better editor, and like searching for like how to edit better videos on YouTube, and then learning about like J cuts and learning about transitions and, like things like that. Like, so I would say more for like snowboarding and my tricks, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. I would do it for video games too. I think that's where I first learned it, when I was competing with Halo, and YouTube just launched in like 2012 or whatever, and people were uploading Halo montages, and I'd like religiously watch Walsey's montages on how he would like throw grenades or double shot or like things like that. And I was like, I got to do that. And so I think that's where I learned that with snowboarding. It's like, oh, if I want to learn this trick, I can just watch this video and kind of put it together. And so I in a way became a self-taught snowboarder because I would watch videos on how people would do certain tricks and things.
So there's a lot that I could unravel on what you just said, because like one of the things is Halo montages. If you guys don't know like the term montage, and especially association with like video games, it's essentially like a highlight reel, right? It's like a highlight reel of clips, and it's set to music, and usually it's very cinematic and like very edited to be together and like flow with the music and everything. Like it's a very theatrical version of showing your highlights. And when YouTube first started, there wasn't a lot of content creation, but that was most definitely some of the highest content creation, especially for video games, was like a high-end montage. People were doing like 2D, 3D animation in the videos and everything, which for like 2004 to 2007 was like insane, like high tech. It was so cool. But I love montages, and I still watch old montages to this day. But I think that montages are the reason why I wanted to become an editor, because I would listen to a song, or I would watch a video game, like a highlight reel of my own, and I would be like, oh, imagine if like I put that to this song, or like this song. Oh my goodness, what if I hit a clip like this where I was like falling and I did that? Like watching those montages, it really like my brain became very creative on like understanding the way music and a scene can flow together. And I honestly think that that's why I wanted to become like a content creator of some sort. I love those montages.
I literally still to this day will hear a song and I'm like, can I make a snowboard edit to this? Like what clips, or like, this is like the powder riding segment. Like every time I hear a song that I really like, I have that. And that's the cool thing about making videos and content, is like I do get to edit occasionally, like season highlights or a season edit into like a really rad song. And sometimes I'll pick a song that is copyright music, so I'm not going to make any money on it, but I just really like the song and I really want to make this video, and I just make it as like a passion project. And I think that's always worth it. If like, yeah, so I'll upload a YouTube video knowing I'm not going to make any money on it, but it's like I love it was just a passion project. However, montages get no views on YouTube. Like a vlog will do exponentially better than like this is snowboarding or like snowboarding 2024 or like, and it's got like my best riding in it. It's like super edited. I put so much time and energy into this sick cut, and it gets like 1,000 views. Where like me just showing up at Keystone being like, all right, we're gonna ride some greens today, we'll get like 10,000 views. I'm like, this is ridiculous, guys.
So it's funny because it's like the complete opposite with video games. Like if I were to, which I could and I want to, I just haven't started it yet, but I've got footage for Halo Infinite that I can make probably a Halo montage out of. And it would be a pretty good one. I've got some pretty good clips in there. But it's funny, if I were to make that video and post it, that video could easily break like a couple thousand views, which that doesn't sound that much, but for a Halo video, like Halo is the video game that we're referring to, is not a popular video game. It does not get a ton of views or anything like that. It's just something that we're very passionate about. It's something that we grew up playing. And so if I were to make that video, that would do extremely well. Whereas if I were to just post like a normally edited like content creation about Halo, like a content video, it might get a couple hundred. Like nobody watches Halo content on YouTube. People want to see like montages or professional gameplay, and that's it. It's so funny how opposite those two are.
Dude, if you told me in 2007 that Halo would not be a popular video game, I'd have been like, you're crazy. What are you talking about? Halo's like the sickest game ever. But then some really bad Halos, and then the lack of competitiveness in people have killed gaming in so many ways. Now people just want to watch Minecraft videos, and I'm like, ugh.
It's such a like spiral, and like a lot of things I'm saying nowadays has just been like, I just can't even believe I'm saying it about video games, and that is, so Halo Infinite, which is the current Halo, like it's in a pretty good state. I played it actually last night, but it's in a pretty good state at the moment. So
I think it's fun.
The game, it's fun, but like just mechanically, the game is pretty bad. As in, when it first came out, it was already a year delayed, and when it came out, it was like kind of broken. Like internet connections were always really bad, and everything. It was very frustrating. So now, 3 years later, they're in a lot better of a spot. But you can't really, like, when it first came out, there was a lot of hype around it. Ninja was playing it, Tim the Tatman, Shroud, Dr. Disrespect, like all the big names, Nick Merckx, all the big names in the scene were playing it because it was fun, it was exciting. Everybody loves Halo, like they know the history behind Halo and everything. But when you release the game and it mechanically is bad, like you literally can barely play the game, nobody's going to continue playing it after the first day. So like they make those mistakes, and that's what really shoots them in the foot. I think Halo Infinite's a great game, and if they released it properly and like correctly and it was functional, I think the game would be massive. But because they didn't, and they didn't release it with content or anything, like they released it too early, and it shot them in the foot. So
yeah, that's a bummer. I'm so sick of. So, like, I mean, at least with video gaming, like you were saying, like, the consumer can have their feedback by just, like, not playing that game. They still bought it. They're frustrated, whatever. They're just not going to play it. And that, in a lot of ways, is the death of a game, especially nowadays, where video game companies are making so much money off of skin purchases and events and things like that down the line. But just in general, I'm so sick of getting screwed as the consumer. And my brain's kind of going towards like food, specifically fast food, which I haven't been eating a lot of that anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But where you prices or things are getting hyped up and more expensive, but you're getting delivered a crappier product is becoming the death of me. Even like in the ski and snowboard industry, like season passes are getting more expensive, but like Keystone and Breck are creating worse terrain parks, and the lines are getting busier, and their ski lodge foods are getting more expensive, but the quality of the food's getting crappier. It's like I'm so sick of being the consumer that it's like, in a way, it's like, how do you get like stop taking it, you know? How do you like put your foot down? Like, I'm so sick of you guys giving us crap and charging more, and I don't know.
No, I know exactly what you mean, because I forgot where I was going at with that point. But yeah, no, what I was trying to, or where my point was going, was that people are making like crappier games, like you're saying, like the quality of games are going down, and they're able to do that because what are we going to do as the consumer? Not play the game? Like, that's not going to happen. Call of Duty is the biggest game. They release crap all the time, and people buy it every year. Every year they buy the next Call of Duty, even if it's a crap product. And it's just like,
and that's what happened with Madden. Madden was the same way.
Oh, dude, it's so bad.
The Maddens were getting crappier. People just kept buying. I'm like, why are you buying? Like, in my head, Madden 2008 was like the last good Madden. I haven't played in a minute, but like, it just felt clunky and stiff, and I was just like, ugh.
I'm not joking. I've never been a sports game guy, right? Behind this camera, I've got a wall of Packer stuff. Like, I love sports, I love football, but I do not like the sports games. Like, they're so fake in my opinion. And the last game I played, which may be why I feel like it was so fake, but was NFL Blitz 98 on the PS2. Do you remember that, bro?
Bro, I could rack up like 200 points in that game.
Dude, I had one play that I would use for the Packers that the defense could never stop. And it was just, I think, a quarterback sneak. Brett Favre, just quarterback sneak, and I would get a touchdown every time.
Yeah, it's weird because when I think about like the last couple of games that I have played, they've all been like, just get it out and we can patch it later. Like, just get the game out and we can update it later. Like, all of them, from like Mark Morris Infinite Air to like the last Tony Hawk to
that was so bad.
Yeah, it's like they all play much better now, but when they came out, you're like, I just remember you like Halo 3, you would stay up till midnight, get your midnight release, come home, and it worked. You just stuck the disc in, and it worked. You might have some issues with online crashing because so many people were trying to play, but the game, you could go play the campaign if the online was struggling. But nowadays you have to like download the game, which the download doesn't go smooth. It takes forever. Like, it's glitchy, this or that. Like, it's so frustrating.
Dude, the most frustrating night I think we had as gamers was Master Chief Collection's release night. Do you remember that?
Oh, dude, that wasn't a night. That was like the worst month of my life.
That was a 2-month process, dude.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was terrible. Like, the game released and you had to download it, but somehow the Xbox servers were like down and you couldn't download the freaking game. Like, downloading the game was taking hours, and then you finally download it and you literally cannot find a match. If you did find a match, it'd be like, for some reason, in an 8-player lobby, it'd be 7 versus 1 or something like that. Like, that game was so broken on release. And then they do the same thing with Halo Infinite. Like, how do you do that? Like, you had, oh my goodness, I don't understand how we're taking steps backwards in gaming. We talked about it in some other podcasts of like 2007 is peak gaming, which I do believe it is, but like, that was 17 years ago and we're still struggling. Like, how it's mind-blowing, dude. It's mind-blowing.
Well, and I don't even really play games anymore now because it's one of those things where I just feel too guilty if I do, because there's always something I could be doing, whether it's DMing or editing or working. I'll play with Roman. That's always fun. Like, he like loves to play Halo with me. It's like, I could do that for like an hour at night, and that barely ever happens anyways because we don't let him game too much because then he gets attitude. So yeah, no, like, I love gaming. I definitely have opportunities in the summertime. Even Bobby, this is how bad it is. She'll be like, can you like not work and just like lay in bed and play some video games? And I'm like, no, like, I don't know. There's also no games. Like, I just don't see a reason to, like, there's no game that's calling me back. Like, it still blows my mind that Fortnite is one of the most popular games. Minecraft is one of the most popular games. Like, those games are so old. And like you said, Call of Duty is just a new crap game every single year. Same game, different colors on top. Like,
I know what you mean about like feeling guilty about gaming, because like, yeah, there's always like something for me to do, but gaming is just like my passion, and so it's like my escape, if that makes sense. Like, for you, snowboarding is your escape. So it's like when you're snowboarding, not only is it like you're getting work done, but also you are like getting that escape from like not reality, but like you know what I mean. Like you're in your element of snowboarding. Sorry, God. Ugh. But like for me last night, I'll be honest, like I had a pretty tough day and I was like, I just want to play some Halo. And for me, that's a hit or miss. Either I'm going to play some Halo, I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to have some fun, or the game is not going to function properly and it's just going to make me very angry at the game. And I'm just I'm in an even worse mood. No, I'm joking. But playing
You're
video
not
games,
joking. You're not joking.
I'm like not well, like so I'm immediately in a worse mood, but I need to just step away and like get away from the game, and then I do like just almost instantly get into a better mood. So
No, like my thing is like I could definitely sit down and enjoy a game, and then I sit down in here at 3 a.m. and I look at like my to-do lists and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. Why did I spend 3 hours gaming yesterday? Like I could have easily knocked out like 6 of these tasks in that time frame. And so yeah, I kind of, I don't want to say I grew up and I put that behind me, because like I literally could sit down and play 12 hours of a video game straight, not feel bad. Or I mean, I will feel bad after.
You'd feel bad.
But I could do it. I love gaming. It's so fun. And I still got the skills, man. The fact that I get on any game still and smack any of these kids, it's just like, you guys never really became gamers. You never lose it.
So it's a toxic thing I like to do, and I say toxic as in like I don't know how to say it, but basically it's like this. So yesterday I was playing some Halo and they started a new season, so you have to like in the ranked game mode you have to get your placement matches done, right? And normally you play against just some really bad people that are still, I say really bad, but they're still like the top rank in the game, if that makes sense. Like they're still, Onyx is the top rank, so like they'd still be an Onyx player, but to me they're like really bad. And so like yesterday I was going against full teams of 4, like they're all 4 in a lobby together, they're all communicating, everything like that. And I'm just like running around on the map, just destroying. I think in one of the games I had like 32-12 and some like with 13 assists or something. Like I killed it. And what I like to do though, this is the toxic part, is I'll look at their service record and be like, these people have played 10,000 games. They've played 10,000 games in Halo Infinite. I've played a lot of Halo Infinite and I've still put in just under 6,000 or something. Like 5,004 or 5,200 games. They have played double the amount of this game that I have, and I am like destroying them. And I thought about it just last night. I'm like, how can you play something that much? Like that's about 2,500 hours of gaming that they've done. 2,500 hours, and they are bad at it. Like how do you do that? Like I don't get it, dude. I don't understand.
Well, think about someone you've worked with and they've worked at the company for 5 years or whatever, and they've never gotten efficient at the job, or like they just like you come in and within seconds are like way better. It's a person thing. It's some people, dude, they're just floating through. They're just coasting. They're just not consciously thinking of how to get better, how to improve, how to do more. Like it's a conscious mindset of, okay, I'm doing this. How do I do it better? How do I do it more? How do I always improve? You know, like even with my snowboarding, like on the last run of the day, it's not like, all right, let's just get down. Like I'm done recording. Let's get out of here. It's like, all right, we're done recording. I still have to go from 851 down to the bottom of the mountain. I'm going to ride the whole thing switch. And on this switch run, I need to work on my switch ollies. So I'm going to pop as many switch ollies as I possibly can. Not recording any of this, not talking about any of it, just like wanting to improve certain aspects of my riding because I want to get better at snowboarding. You know, I'm actively thinking and trying to improve. And some people will comment like, dude, you've been snowboarding for so long. Like, how are you only this good? You're not that good at snowboarding. I did personally pick a sport that does not come naturally to me. Like I'm also like, I don't want to say us Buckhouses aren't athletes, but we're not the most athletically gifted people on the planet. So the fact that I'm at the level of snowboarding that I'm at, I'm very proud of myself. Um, but yeah, I don't know. You got to want it and go out there and actively get it.
I know what you mean. I also think that there's just like, so you talked earlier about like watching footage for gaming and then like implementing the new things that you learned, and that totally makes sense. It really does, because like we talked about that in other podcasts of like I would watch my own footage. Right? I used to be a competitive Halo player, so I'd play, I would stream or record. I would watch my gameplay. I would watch my gameplay with my team. I would watch my team's gameplay. I was watching a lot of gameplay, or I'd be watching professional gameplay to try to learn from it, right? So like I understand that concept, but it's like this, even just right now, if you were to ask me like, would you want to become a pro Halo player? Yes, I would. I would love that. That's like a passion, like that's a dream of mine. But it's like I also know that would be, it's a very time consuming thing. You spend like it's 60 hours a week on that, along with working 40 hours a week and being a spouse. Like that's what you would have to do to be a pro at this point and everything. So it's not very realistic for me at the moment. But what I'm trying to say is last night, I even noticed myself seeing the game differently, where I was just like, I had this flank coming, and I was wrapping around like 3 people in their base, and I was like, I need to do this fast because the 4th one is about to spawn behind me. Like I saw the game like unraveling in my mind, where I was like, I need to go now, otherwise that person's gonna spawn behind me, and this entire play is not gonna work out. And like I did, and it worked out perfectly fine. And I'm like, I wasn't thinking that way like a year ago when I was competing, and I haven't been studying footage, and yet somehow it clicked in my brain. Like it's like somehow I figured it out, and I haven't even been like playing the game a ton or anything. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just like I think that there's also a certain level of like intuition, or just like smarts or common sense or problem solving that you have that like helps you just naturally get better at things. Would you say yes or no to that?
Well, I was going to say it makes total sense that you've stepped away from the game and allowed your. I always think about this with the snowboard season and off season, and you come back the next year and you're a better rider, because like you're allowing your brain time to like process what it's learned, if that makes sense. So like sometimes stepping away for a short moment of time is like the best thing that can happen to what you're currently actively focusing on and working on so much, and you're learning all this new information, you're processing it, and you're trying to implement it and all type of stuff. Sometimes a week break, a month break for snowboarding, it's like a 5-6 month break. It allows your brain to like process it allows your muscles to like build or like turn whatever you've just learned into that muscle memory. So then when you come back, all of a sudden it's like clicking more, and you're like, oh wait, I never thought of like the 3rd person or the 4th person spawn, because you were so focused on all these other aspects of the game. But now that you've learned that and processed it, your brain's like, what's the next thing? I know all of this information. What's that next thing? And then that clicks.
No, that makes sense. And I felt that way before, where it's like sometimes I would take a break for a game and I would come back and like, yeah, it'd just be like more accurate somehow. Like I was just like, I'm just like better at the game. And I'm like, and I remember experiencing that particularly when I was younger. But no, yeah, it's funny how that can help. Like just taking a small break can be very beneficial for you.
I tend to like need to do that more. It's like, with the snowboard season, it's like, this is all you got. Go, 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 go. And then I don't take breaks. And then it's like, because the other thing that happens too is like the desire gets amped up. Like when I like really, like when I haven't snowboarded park in like 4 days and I really want to get into the train park, I have a really good day, and because I want it. Where if it's like 4 park days in a row, I'm like, oh, and like, that want to get after it is just lower. So when you want to do something, you tend to do it better.
No, I get that. And it's funny because like I love snowboarding. I really do. I don't think there's much like it out there. So for the summer board, shout outs. No, I'm joking. But like I don't feel like there's much out there that's like similar to snowboarding and everything. So like I love snowboarding, but I don't like hearing you talk about, where you're at skill wise as snowboarding and everything. I could take that I could take that into my own snowboard life as well, because I'm really like not that good at snowboarding in the sense of like the terrain park and stuff. Like spinning, I was never good at spinning. board slides and stuff are fun to do, but like just I don't know. I never really pushed myself to do like lots of new tricks or anything like that. And it's kind of like what you're saying with the excitement. Like, I don't know. I liked snowboarding. I just think I thought I liked it more than I actually did, because like I never had that motivation to like push myself to be better in the train park or anything like that. Cause like, I don't know. I just didn't have that like excitement there. It was fun to snowboard, and like the riding aspect is a lot of fun. And I do think naturally my riding is pretty good because of how much snowboarding I've done. But like terrain park wise and everything, I most definitely should be better at it than I am. I just don't think that there was that motivation to get better,
Well, getting wrecked sucks. So I get it. Like if you like, it's hard to like want to go out and get wrecked. I know, like for me in mountain biking, I'm going into like, I've actually been mountain biking for a couple summers now. I am still freaking terrible at this mountain bike thing because it's so freaking terrifying and dangerous, and people get so wrecked mountain biking. I would much rather just bike up a mountain and like not downhill it, where everyone's into the downhill aspect. I'm like, I just like it for the workout, and the downhill, it scares the crap out of me. Where with wakeboarding, it's so similar to snowboarding, and it's so fun that I have the same like drive to learn and get better at wakeboarding, and like push myself. And every time I go out trying to learn something new and get better, but also like that risk factor of like getting absolutely wrecked, which you still can. Like my neck is really tight and sore from catching a gnarly hillside water edge this last weekend. But like the risk factor is so much lower than mountain biking, at least in my head it is. So like I want to get super sendy with wakeboarding, but I will not be dropping anything higher than a foot on a mountain bike because it just terrifies the living crap out of me.
It's funny. I want to get into biking. Like I want to ride a bike right now way more than I want to ride a snowboard or a wakeboard. Like I don't know. I'm into that right now, but it's
come on, like, dude, come rip a bike with me. Take Tyler's.
So I have a pretty bad like quote unquote mountain bike or whatever, and I just need to get like a lot more comfortable just riding a bike again, right? I haven't really I jumped on the bike somewhat recently and like rode around. Like I know how to ride the bike. That's not the problem. It's just like the comfortability factor on it. But yeah, I would love to do some mountain biking stuff.
I know some super simple trails.
Last time I asked Tyler, he was like, well, bro, we got to get you a better bike because the bike that you have, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, Tyler, I've never went mountain biking. I'm not going to go buy a new bike. Like, I'm not. Like,
they're so expensive too.
Well, especially it's like, what if I do it and then I just don't ever go mountain biking? Like, I don't know, like I want to, but I want to do a lot of things. That doesn't mean I'm going to. Like, like everybody says like I want to do this, I want like it like doesn't mean that it's going to be your hobby or your new hobby or whatever. Like you may try it, but that may be the end of it. So and I get that.
Did you bike a lot as a kid?
It depended on the house that we lived in, but so Dad bought me a bike for, I don't remember what birthday I had. I don't know. It was a weird dynamic, which I'm sure you can relate to when I say it, but it's like Dad bought me a bike and I was excited about it, but he like tried to teach me how to ride it for maybe a morning, but it was also on the Gold Terrace Lane or whatever, Gold Cream Terrace. That hill was intense. Like that street that we lived on was very steep. So for a kid to learn a bike, not the most prime real estate or anything, but like I never actually learned. Then we moved into the basement house, which we talked about. And in that cul-de-sac, the kids, I would hang out with them all the time. They're like, Ben, do you have a bike? I was like, yeah, but I don't know how to ride it. And by this time, it was like 2 years later. So I maybe grew up and fit into the bike better and everything like that. But they were like, here, go get it. I'll teach you. And I was like, okay. And sure enough, like instantly, they taught me how to ride the bike. And then living in that house, I rode it a lot. But that was maybe for like a year. I rode it a lot. And then after that, I kind of slowed down a little bit. But I've ridden my bike 2 places. I remember, talk about video games. I rode my bike from the Ashley Drive house. Do you know which house I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I drove my bike from the Ashley Drive house all the way down to the GameStop by Target for a Call of Duty Ghost pre-order like thing. It was like, if you go pre-order the game, you get this in Modern Warfare 3 or something like that. So I rode my bike down to GameStop because Mom wouldn't drive me. And then it started raining on my way back. And that was miserable.
I'll say I also didn't ride a bike a lot as a kid, so that's why I suck at mountain biking. Because like so many people, like Cody, my editor, is an incredible bike rider because he just as a kid rode his bike all the time and bunny hopped and learned all this type of stuff when he was a kid. So then he gets on his mountain bike and he's like, "Oh, this isn't that bad," and like can rip. Where I get on a bike and I'm like, this is so foreign and this is so fast and why is my tail sliding and I'm so scared, and it's just not the same as like I get on a skateboard, because that's what I did as a kid. Instead of riding a bike somewhere, I would skate somewhere. Instead of biking around the neighborhood, I'd go to the school and slappy curbs and jump stairs on my skateboard. So it makes sense that snowboarding and all these board sports I'm really good at, and that's where my attention goes, where like the biking and dirt bikes and all that type of stuff, I'm like, oh, gross, get that away from me.
I wish I skated more growing up. That's one thing for certain. Skating is hard, and this is something that took me longer to, like, I don't know. I try not to blame too much, but it's just like growing up, like I feel like, so I know that Jonathan's like experience growing up and my experience growing up are nothing alike. And that's that's the way it is for like a lot of siblings, but it's like, I feel like I was taught different things. And like for me, I remember if something was like overly difficult, I didn't really have like the drive or motivation or determination or even just the willpower to like push through that. And I noticed that, and I hated that about myself, like an attribute I had from like growing up that I like tried changing as an adult. But yeah, it was like skateboarding's hard. Like it's a hard thing to do, to like ollie and like kickflip. And so like kickflipping is like ollieing and flipping the board in the air, right? Like it's a hard thing to do, to learn and grasp and everything like that. And I just like never pushed through that and never actually like, figured it out. And I wish I did, dude. I wish I was better about that when I was growing up, but can't go back, right?
I don't know where I got it from, but yeah, no, I have
who,
that,
like,
that
taught
drive where like I don't care if it's hard, if I think if I'm interested in it, like I'll pound my face against it till I figure it out, type thing. Even yesterday, like I'm landing. I haven't landed kickflips in a minute, but like yesterday at the skate park, I was doing a decent amount of them. I got a couple under 1 foot, so I'm like, all right, kickflips happening this summer. But no, I had that thought. I was like, the other day, I was like, literally yesterday, I think it was. I was like, when did I get so good at skating? Like I'm not that good, but I'm not that bad. And like I could rip a bowl, I can ride quarter pipes, things like that. It was like I don't know. It's just like, okay, cool. Like I put the time in when I was younger, and I still have these skills, which is sick. Because now I'm old, and I'm just thankful I have this baseline where I had to learn this now. I don't know. Well, I probably still would learn because I'm out there wakeboarding, getting my body slammed, but I just don't have it for biking. Biking it's just not there.
Dude, it's that muscle memory. It's so important, and like anybody could just like pick it up. It's like if you, or not anybody, but it's like if you have the muscle memory, you could just like pick it up again years later and like be perfectly. You just, it's like you may be a little rusty to begin with, but then after that you break all the rust off and you're good to go. Like it's crazy how important your muscle memory is.
For sure. And I think it's crazy important too to like have hobbies that you're interested in that you want to get better at. So like hearing that you want to try biking, dude, like come on up to the mountains. Like that makes me excited. I literally have a trail that we could do that's super mellow. The uphill biking might be a little hard for you since you don't live at the elevation. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I personally want to bike across America. I've turned my thought process with biking is I really enjoy it for the cardio aspect and the getting in shape aspect, especially because it's low impact and you can go like far distance with it. So like I do want to bike across America when I'm 40. I think that's where my head's going. So I've been putting in a lot of like 20-mile plus days on the bike in my house.
Have to do a lot more than 20 miles to bike across America, but
it's a lot more.
I'll let you figure that out.
I think it takes most people 3 months to do it, to bike across America. But I think it'd be so fun with like the RV trailing behind, and you're just like head down, busting out audiobooks and podcasts and making a whole like documentary about it and just challenging yourself. But my thought process, like, I know this kind of just shows the type of person I am, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn 40. I really, truly believe 40 is when people give up on sports. You know, like most athletes don't play sports into their 40s. You know, Tom Brady was like the most abnormal. The computer just turned off. Tom Brady played till he was 46. No one does that, you know, but you have this choice when you turn 40 of like, am I going to just now become this human that doesn't do anything active anymore? Or am I going to go even more into being active in my 40s and be that 97-year-old that's still skiing and snowboarding or hiking trails? You know, like you always show up on like a hiking trail and there's that one old person or like couple that are getting it still. And you're like, dang, dude, they're passing me up and they're like 90. I want to be that dude.
It's funny that you came to the realization for the number 40 just because I think nowadays people are stopping way earlier. They're like 16, I'm good. I don't need to do any more physical activity.
I'm done being physical. I just turned 16, you know. It was sweet. Life was good. No, you're not wrong. So many more and more people are. Well, like you were saying too when you were younger, that like this is difficult, I'm not going to try anymore. That has gotten so bad. I see it all the time. I get comments about it all the time. You know, I'm doing these action sports. So I go to the cable
participation awards.
I don't know if it's that, but like I go to the cable park and I see a kid eat it going off the dock twice and they're like, okay, I'm done for the day. It's like, dude, you have a 2-hour session. Like I would have been that kid that for 2 hours straight would have just ate it until I figured it out. Where like I'm trying to teach that to Roman. And like one thing that I say to Roman all the time is when he says something's hard, he goes, Dad, this is hard. I say, yes, but everything that's awesome in life is hard. Like having a relationship with your wife is very hard, but it's worth it. Having kids is very hard because they're going to wake up throwing up and pooping and puking and stuff, but it's so worth it because like the cuddles you get after and holding your daughter, it's worth the hard. You know, having a career that's you're self-employed and you're trying to figure all this type of stuff out is really hard, but the benefits are so worth it. Getting good at an action sport is very hard, but when you are that dude that's one of the best riders on the mountain and you're absolutely ripping and you could do anything you want, it's worth it.
So I will say that there still is some hope out there, as in like the younger generation still does have it a little bit. For instance, our nephew Harry has that, you know. Harry's the type of kid that like he's gonna figure it out. This kid will just throw himself at anything and just like figure it, and he'll get like bumps and bruises and he's fine. And so like there still is that kind of like grit mentality in some of the younger generations, so we're still like got some of that, but I think a lot of it is going away. And I think that those like participation awards or just parents being like, it's okay, you don't have to, but and like just like encouraging it. I think
it's social media, man. I think it's I don't need to actually do these sports. I'll just watch other people do them, or like,
which is just so bad.
I'm more comfortable like sitting on the couch swiping on TikTok than going outside and actually trying something. And so that's one thing that I it's about to be summer up in the mountains. For most people, it's already summer, but for where I live, it's finally becoming summer up here. And I love it so much because me and the kids skate in the driveway every day, and we just got a basketball hoop, so we're going to be playing basketball in the driveway. But I got skate ramps at my house that we'll bust out, and we'll go ride the ramps every day. Like getting your kids outside playing. And nowadays, I think it's more and more the parents' job to get the kids involved than sticking them outside and being like, no, just go. Like when I was young, the parents would be like, get out of the house, you're annoying me, go outside, and you'd figure it out. Where nowadays, I think you as the parent actually need to go out there and play with your kids. I think that is so important.
It's, dude, we live in like this weird vicious cycle because like I feel like with all the research that has come out and with all the research that people have accessibility to with our smartphones and everything, and the amount of forums that exist or the amount of blogs or vlogs or tutorials on the internet, it just highlighted like all the dangers that exist. And there are dangerous things, don't get me wrong, right? Like kids shouldn't be out past a certain hour at night, blah, blah. Like there are actual dangerous things. But I feel like we just baby proof and kid proof anything nowadays that like the kids nowadays don't have the opportunity to learn. Like if they fall or whatever, something's there to catch them, so they don't have to ever like learn or try or get better at something, because there's always something there like in place to protect them or to help them. And it's just like it's not, I don't think it's healthy for our next generation, you know?
I have 2 points on this. So this is gonna make me sound awful, but like survival of the fittest was such a real thing for so long, but nowadays we keep everybody alive. So there's so many people that wouldn't have been alive not too long ago that are just making stupid decisions and changes the way we do things. And it's just like, everything's getting so soft. Like this person wouldn't have lived like 300 years ago. They would have died. And then now they have such a loud voice because of social media and things like that. So that's one point. That's a dark way of thinking about it. But the other thing I was going to say about, I think nowadays it's more important for the parents to get outside and play with their kids. That means like parents get off your phone, which is a hard thing for parents to realize, is like, you need to be that parent that isn't on their phone. And I'll bust my phone out and get stories or videos because I absolutely love having the memories with the kids. But like, I'm not outside like swiping my TikTok while the kids are playing. Like, no, I am skating with the kids. Like, I am playing pickleball with Roman. I am doing. So with that being said, we got to end this podcast because I got to get on the phone with Gilson to talk Buckhouse Wax because it's happening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, guys,
thanks for coming by for... There we go. Thanks for coming by for episode 9 of the Buckhouse Podcast. Next week, we will have episode 10 out. We will, because guess what? We don't stop around here. We keep it going. Right, bro?
Hopefully. Right. No, I'm joking.
All right, we stopped at episode... No, I'm joking. We're not stopping. We're going to keep going, everything like that. We're at the prime time of like summer, everything. We're working these kinks out. We're going to be golden here soon, and we are super excited. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for commenting, subscribing, liking, doing all that fun stuff, sharing, tell your family, tell your friends, do all that stuff. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe.